Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and what we got here is Mayday issue number 1. Now, this is a good enough comic that you can have some fun reading it, and it's one of those comics where you might bang your head on a desk thinking, why? It could have been so much more. They have one of the best opening lines I've ever read in a comic. They say, in Russian, there's a word for immigrant, and there's a word for traitor. But there is no word for defector. You just use the word traitor for something like that. What a great opening. Guys, the art in this comic is great. The writing, when you can actually read the writing, we'll get to that, is pretty good. It's pretty good. I like the plot. I like the script that they were going with. It's really good stuff. What I don't like, and I really, really like the onomatopoeias in this. I know it sounds weird, but when you read it, everything sounds like an item that it should sound like. From sprinklers on, it actually sounds really good. It reads really well. You can make the sounds in your head, and yeah, that's what those things would sound like. What I don't like is that they get really lazy with the comic. As opposed to finding someone who speaks and reads Russian and can write Russian, they just kind of did little scribbles here and there. A couple words, which, da and things like that, yeah, they write those in, right? A couple little words here and there. They obviously hit up Google Translate. But as opposed to actually finding someone who can write Russian for them, no, they just simply got lazy and just did scribbles, which it worked in the beginning, but they really overdid it. And a little bit later into the comic book, it actually gets to the point where the comic is now, I'm not joking, unreadable. You cannot follow the comic in the middle end, which is when it's supposed to start getting really interesting. The ending was pretty cool. A whole bunch of things were pretty cool about this. Like I said, it's a great script, but they got really lazy with the translations, and not just that, slurred speech now looked like the exact same thing. It actually made the book horrible in that regard. Also, nudity, full frontal, female and male. And wow, just to me, that's a further example of being lazy. Look, I don't have a problem with the naked body, male or female. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is that lazy, hey, let's, do something shock value. Or you could be cool with it. You could be couth with it and, do an outline, do a silhouette, do something as blocking, the actual nudity. Just something little like that. It wouldn't have taken much where you can give the idea that, yes, this person is naked. Hoo-ha. Who cares? But to actually show everything is really like I'm reading a Howard Stern comic at this point, just anything for the cheap thrill, to get that cheap pop, hey, buy my comic because there's nudity. It's cartoon nudity, all right? I'm sorry, have you ever heard of the internet? You can get lots of nudity and more on the internet, all right, for free. I don't need to buy your comic to get nudity. And instead, how about you do something intelligent? And, I read this and I see this gratuitous nudity in this, and I say, yeah, that's why Image is not one of the top 3. There are lots of reasons, I get it, but that's one of the main reasons. Because Image should be in the top 3. They do, to me, stupid things like this, and yeah, duh, no wonder. Guys, I'm giving this comic a D+, because it should have been so good. It really should have been. But the lazy factor of writing the way they wrote, and trying to do the LSD hypno-tripping at the end and failing because it's one thing when you can't understand what's going on with the pictures, but the words should kind of tell you what's going on. But then those are also trippy. And, I get what you're trying to do, but you failed at doing it. And yeah, sorry. D+, honestly lucky you got that much. Anyways, guys, read it. See if you can actually understand it. It's Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.